Am I the asshole here for filing restraining orders on a pair of missionaries? I used to be, and technically still am, a member of the Latter-day Saints/Mormon Church. I've tried to get my records removed, but it's gone nowhere, and I still get members and missionaries showing up to my house, even when I moved. Well, in the past 2 months, I've been visited once a week by the same pair of missionaries, along with one of my male cousins. They can't visit a single lady unless another male is with them. I tell them each week to stop visiting and tell whichever cousin they bring that it's not welcome, necessary, or funny, and they really need to stop. Well, they came over last Saturday while I was having a barbecue with some friends and co-workers, and they just started mingling and preaching to my guests. I didn't even realize they were there because I was on the grill until one of my co-workers came up to me and basically complained about me inviting him to the barbecue as an excuse to get my church members to preach to him and his boyfriend. I had to apologize and explain to him the situation and promise that it wasn't like that at all. I decided I was done. They didn't even try to find me, they just harassed my guests and came into my property uninvited, so I called the police. They showed up and said they can ask them to leave, but they can't really do anything else since I didn't ask them to leave myself first. So I showed them my ring footage and how I've been asking them to stop coming to my house for 2 months, and they said I could file for a restraining order for stalking, but it might not go anywhere. So they walked me through the online forms, and I have a hearing soon. Since then, the church members have sent me emails, their youth have heart attacked my door/porch, and my Latter-day Saint family have made Facebook posts about me being the literal devil. With the hearing getting closer, I'm starting to feel nervous, and like maybe I've blown everything out of proportion. Like these missionaries are still teens, and maybe I should be redirecting my anger at my family, who are probably the ones behind it. Am I the asshole here if I go through with the hearing? In the comments, Sharp Subject says, quote, until one of my co-workers came up to me and basically complained about me inviting him to a barbecue as an excuse to get my church members to preach to him and his boyfriend. Not the asshole. They could have gotten you fired. Go to the hearing. OP says, I didn't even think of that. Luckily, he was cool about it after I explained the situation, but what if he didn't come to me and he just left instead? That's making me really mad now that I think about it. Convivial Cat says, just because you think he was cool about it after your explanation doesn't mean that this incident didn't make him totally change his perception of you as a co-worker and a person. And what about other co-workers who were just as upset but didn't say anything? I think you have deeply underestimated the lasting effects that this will have on your relationship with your co-workers and your job. If I were one of your co-workers, this type of thing would have caused me to leave your barbecue and would have permanently damaged our working relationship. And OP replies, oh gosh, I didn't think about that either. There were a couple that didn't show up, but what if they did and saw the missionaries and just noped out? And what about your non-LDS friends at the barbecue? They may have had an unpleasant experience as well. You may have some repair work that you need to do with them. OP says, a lot of them know that I don't go to that church anymore and were there when the police showed up, so we were able to talk about it at the barbecue. I'm mostly worried about my co-workers. Neighborhood Tasty says, after your hearing, you could send an email/update to the co-workers who were invited/there to let them know the follow-up of your actions, underlining how seriously you took the intrusion. Not the asshole. Get the restraining order, block everyone harassing you online. Hopefully the stuff at your house is on your door camera. Send all the footage to your lawyer or court point of contact. They have escalated their behavior, so you definitely need the order. If they'd just given up, you might have dropped it. If regular teens were repeatedly vandalizing your house, you'd take appropriate steps. Don't let their religion get in the way. You deserve peace. Please don't feel guilty. They brought it on themselves. Back up to the post, there's an edit. Well, it's been 2 hours, and I think I've gotten enough advice and encouragement to help me. Thank you all. I will go to the hearing still. You're right. If they weren't missionaries, I wouldn't even be questioning it. I will be messaging my co-workers and apologizing and letting them know about the restraining order hearing, and I'll be going low contact with my LDS family. And for those that asked, Heart attacking is taping paper hearts with the Book of Mormon and Bible quotes and little "I miss you" notes to people's front doors, windows, and porches. I've also been told that it's literally love bombing, which I've never noticed before, so that's cool. Damn, they're literally love bombing them with heart attacking. That's a new one. I had never known that the LDS does that, although they are not as active in my city as they are in other places in Australia, and I've never had to deal with them personally, so, maybe this is just a niche LDS tactic that they only do in Utah and not over here. Regardless, I think it's more than appropriate to get a restraining order against them because these assholes, these absolute dickheads, have gone and very likely destroyed a lot of the goodwill that you have been earning at work, especially with a barbecue like this. This was a gesture of good fortune, and that can be misconstrued as whatever it was with those dickheads at the barbecue that, from your perspective, they weren't invited. But how are these co-workers to know that? Especially when there is a same-sex couple there being targeted and singled out. How is that going to look to everyone else at your work? This is a nightmare scenario. It really feels like, no, you have to get the restraining order to show that you were serious about you not being the one that set this up to target this same-sex couple that you work with. Absolutely not the asshole for that one. You're just looking after yourself. I don't blame you. And now, on to the updates. Hello all. I said that I wouldn't be logging in again, but these last 2 months have been very draining for me, and I thought writing everything down and putting all my feelings out might make me feel better. So here's an update. 2 days before the hearing, my uncle, who was also the ward bishop for the elders, showed up to my house with the missionaries. I took the advice on my post and only spoke to them through my Ring app. I told them if they didn't leave, I would be calling the police. One elder left to sit in the car, and my uncle and the other elder stayed at my door. My uncle told me that I was being dramatic and that I'm too sensitive, that me protecting my safe space was going to ruin a young man's life. I told them that I put a request in for an RO and that they knew this, and they were still harassing me. My uncle said that they weren't going to leave until I came out and talked to them like an adult so we could solve this restraining order issue without the courts. I told them to leave again, and I called the police when it was obvious they weren't going to. The cops showed up and trespassed my uncle and arrested the missionary that did not go to the car. I explained to them about the hearing that was going to happen and showed them the footage of them trying to get me to not go to the hearing. I felt really bad, and I still do. And I know a lot of you are going to say that I shouldn't, but I do. I spent the 2 days after that getting calls and texts from people I love, calling me all sorts of terrible things and telling me that I'm a disappointment. The guy I've been talking to had to take my phone away from me and block everyone because he knew I wouldn't. I went to the hearing and was granted the RO for harassment. And then I had my mum and dad show up to my house the next day to give me a piece of their mind, and now I hate myself. So that's great. I sent the paperwork to the mission president and asked to be put on the do not contact list, like a commenter told me to do. I was told that the missionary that was arrested had his visa revoked, so they're sending him back home early. I was basically told if anything happens to him before they can get him a flight home, then it's my fault. People have posted about me getting innocent men in trouble and wanting my own kind deported on social media. Even though he wasn't deported, his visa was just revoked. So I've had my house egged, rocks thrown at my windows, and ice bags left on my porch for the last month. Even some of my friends and co-workers, who told me to go through with the restraining order, are saying that I went too far. But I didn't know that he was here on a visa. As far as I know, he is back home and safe. But that's it. That's the update. My friends, family, and co-workers hate me, and I hate myself too. But hey, at least I'm not minorly inconvenienced by missionaries and awkward 5-minute conversations anymore. Oh my god. That ending though, Jesus. In the comments, Orphan Blood says, "I'm so sorry this is happening to you. Leaving this cult is brave of you, and you're doing everything right. I'm fucking proud of you. We support you. Do not back down. You got this. Not the asshole whatsoever." No, stop that shit right now. Your family are shitbags who don't deserve you, and they weren't mildly inconveniencing you. They did this. Don't get despaired, get angry. Do something about this, goddammit, anything. How dare you say we're harassing you? We would never do that. And just for that, we're gonna egg your house. The consequences of that guy suffering the consequences of his actions are your consequences. Seriously though, stepping into the effing barbecue is a step too far. They get whatever is coming to them at that point. He should have known a hell of a lot better than to mess around when he was here on a visa, and that's totally on him. If I report a guy for burglary or drunk driving or something, and then it turns out he was on his last warning to lose his kids or some shit, that has nothing to do with me. Obviously they don't deserve the privilege if they can't keep it together. If you're on thin ice, it's your job to tread carefully. I couldn't agree with that more. It's not OP's fault that his visa was taken off him. That is 100% on him, and it's some bullshit that tribalistic mentality all came together to dismantle OP's life, to dismantle her reputation, to make her feel like the worst person on earth, because she decided not to be in their club anymore. And you know what? Oh, the consequences for not being in our fun little club is basically social death. We will make sure that you feel like the worst person in the world for defending your privacy, for standing up for yourself. We will punish this with death, pretty much. I hate that so much. I'm so sorry you had to deal with that, OP. You didn't deserve it. No one deserves that. And please stop feeling down like that. Please stop beating yourself up over it. I think you should keep those people blocked, and until any of them also do the same as you and leave the little cult that they're in, I don't think you should talk to them again, personally. Look what happened when you tried to stand up for yourself. It's not going to be different in the future. Thank you for the story, OP, and good luck. Our next post is by user Passion for Driving, and it's titled, "My boyfriend's sister told me she has feelings for me, and I have no idea what to do. So this is a mess, and I haven't told anyone about it yet. I've been dating my boyfriend, we've been together for almost 3 years, and I've always had a pretty chill relationship with his family. His younger sister, she's 29, I'm 34 female, has always been super friendly, and honestly, I thought we just got along really well. But last weekend, she came over to hang out while my boyfriend was working late, and I don't know, something felt off. She kept touching my arm, complimenting me more than usual, and then after a couple of drinks, she just came out and said it. That she's had feelings for me for a while and thinks we'd be perfect together in another life, or something. I just froze. I kinda laughed it off because I didn't know what else to do and changed the topic. But now I feel weird around her, and I don't know if I should tell my boyfriend. I don't want to make things awkward with his family or start drama, but I also feel like I'm keeping a secret that could blow up later. She hasn't texted me since, but I can't stop thinking about it. What do I even say? Do I bring it up with him, or do I just let it go and hope that it never happens again?" In the comments, another Dominion says, "You should tell him ASAP, and stop hanging around her. I saw a post today where a woman said that she ruined her marriage because when she was dating her husband, his brother tried to sleep with her and she rejected him, but never told her husband about it. Years later, the brother told her husband in a fight to ask her about what happened, and now he doesn't know what to believe. OP says, I'll tell him this weekend. Bramblefish says, be very clear about what was said and not said. Be very clear about what was done and not done. Try to avoid his mind from spiraling. Talk to your boyfriend and let him know about it and how it happened so it doesn't bite you in the ass later, but other than that, do nothing and let it go. And OP says, I'll do it. That's a terrible sister, not gonna lie. She just confessed her feelings. It's not really her fault, and it really sucks for her too. Her feelings are not her fault, but acting on them is. I totally agree that she shouldn't be shamed for catching feelings, but communicating them was not the way to go. If I were in his sister's shoes and absolutely couldn't live without communicating them, I'd have talked to the brother about it and already come with a game plan of distancing myself until I could get over the feelings while communicating that I don't want to get in the middle of anything or reduce trust. Also, there isn't any information in here about whether or not the sister is out or not. In case she isn't, this puts OP in a terrible situation of, in order to maintain trust in her own relationship, outing the sister. In case the sister isn't out, this could easily be seen as manipulative by the sister as a way of ensuring OP doesn't share her advances. Yeah, I think it is very stupid not to say anything about it. I also don't understand why, in the situation where the brother tried to come on to the wife and she didn't say anything about... Why? Why wouldn't you say anything about it? Like, I know you wouldn't want to be confrontational, but this is pretty serious business. I really feel like you got to put your desire to keep the peace below what is right. Because, yeah, what if they do turn it on you in the future? And I don't think it was right for the brother to turn it on OP in the future to the husband and say, oh, ask her about it all those years later. Like, what kind of gotcha is that? Ha! I got you, big bro. I came on to your wife all those years ago and she kept that from you to keep the peace. The only way that's going to be used is in spite, to be like, see? You can't trust her. You can trust nothing about that woman because she wouldn't even tell you about the time that I came onto her like that. And now you can't even trust me either, huh? Everyone's lying to you and your life is a lie. And I did this to make you feel so shit about everything. Like, this is why you just have to be honest with your partner. Imagine some psycho doing that and just with one fell swoop, dismantling all the work you did to build trust in your relationship. Absolutely not. Tell him, OP. And now, onto the update. So I finally told my boyfriend. I was super nervous, but I just couldn't keep it bottled up any longer. I told him what his sister said and how weird I'd been feeling since. His reaction was honestly kind of surprising. He stayed calm and said something like, yeah, she might just be messing around or testing you. He didn't seem shocked at all. More like he was trying to figure out if this was serious or just her being her. What does that mean? What kind of relationship do these two have? What? Then he went and talked to her, calmly. And later, the three of us sat down together. My heart was pounding the entire time. And they both just laughed. A lot. Apparently she was just testing me, like, as some kind of weird joke or whatever. I wasn't exactly amused. I got kinda mad. I told them both that this was really not cool. I mean, who does that? She apologized, and to be fair, she said some really sweet things about me. Said that she thinks that I'm great for her brother, and that she respects our relationship, and that no, she absolutely doesn't have feelings for me. She said she has a boyfriend, and she's not even into women like that. I told them both, straight up, to not ever pull something like that again. Like, ever. So yeah, weird week, still processing. Thanks for all the advice, seriously. In the comments, OK Temporary says, they opened Pandora's box, or more specifically, she did. You will never truly know if she meant it or not. She might have just tried to cover her ass with her brother, and this might be in your head for ages every time you interact with her, because rationally that test made no sense. Honestly, I think OP can rest 100% assured the sister has legitimate feelings, but switched gears the second she realized it was going to pan out the way she'd hoped, and got away with it. Yeah, absolutely no way this was a test. I think I'd even be willing to bet this isn't the first of her brother's girlfriends that she's done this to, since he immediately just jumped to, oh, she's just testing you. I'd have walked. Yeah, too old for these stupid games. 29 years old? More like 9. Who would want to be a part of that family? That's a shitty thing to do. I think walking away is the right move. Yeah, how is that normalized? Oh yeah, she does that to all my girlfriends. She comes onto them, and it's always just a fun little test, and I didn't even warn you about it beforehand. I didn't say anything. Just thought, I'd let you get tested like she always does, because this is a normal thing. Oh my god, to be ignorant of social norms truly must be a phenomenal bliss, because whatever other reality he is living in, it's just so far from whatever my sense of normal is, and I would hope everyone else's sense of normal is, that it just blows my mind. There's no way that sister isn't aware of what she's doing and how she is manipulating him and everyone else around her. What a sick and childish game to play on someone, especially your own brother. I hope that she can't sleep well at night, honestly. I don't like her at all. Good luck, OP. If I were you, I'd do what everyone else is doing. Just walk. What is the point of marrying into that family if you ever do? What's the point of staying? That is just red flags ahoy. Our next post is by user I am not Lindsay Nagel, and it's titled, Am I the asshole for locking myself in my office when we have company? I, 36 female, took in my mother during the pandemic after some medical issues. I never made her move out after. It works for us. She has her own bedroom and bathroom, and we share other spaces, and I work from home most of the time so I can look after her. My stepdad died about a decade ago, and she was lonely. It made sense for us. As mentioned, I work from home most of the time, and a lot of times I'm in some kind of Teams meeting or call. Yes, even those that could be emails, but that's not important. So I don't really have time for chit-chat during office hours. My mum's sister, aka my aunt, tends to drop by unannounced to visit with my mum, which I don't really mind, but she had a tendency to step into my office without knocking while I'm working and start talking to me about her neighbor's sister's kid who did blah blah blah. I've more than once explained to her that I'm working and/or I'm on a call and I really can't chat right now, but she just keeps talking like nothing happened. Today, she actually announced to my mum that she was coming over. I reminded my mum to tell her that I'm working and on calls and can't be disturbed, and my mum agreed, and she would tell her not to bother me. But just to be safe, I locked my office door so she couldn't walk in. Despite my mum telling her, she came upstairs and tried to open the door, and when it didn't open, she started knocking and calling out, "Hello, it's me, open up." I didn't respond at first as I was on a call with a client, but she kept banging on the door so loudly, I ended up having to put the client on hold. I told her without opening the door that I was on a call and could not talk right now, and my aunt left in a huff. Now she's bombarding my mum with texts about how rude I was for locking myself in my office, knowing I was having company. So am I the asshole? In the comments, Ute Lawyer says, not the asshole. You didn't have company, your mother did, and it was while you were working. There's nothing to apologize for. Not the asshole, keep your door locked, rinse, repeat. Maybe she'll finally get the hint. If she doesn't, tell your mum she needs to meet her sister somewhere else. She can't come to the house while you're working. If she keeps ignoring boundaries, she can lose visiting privileges during work hours. It's not complicated to respect a closed door while someone's working. Of course not the asshole. Both your mum and aunt are being rude, irrational, and entitled. It's your space. Put your foot down and tell your mum that your aunt is not allowed to visit during working hours if she can't be respectful. Sadly, this seems like the only option. Refuse to let the aunt visit during working hours. If she can't respect boundaries, she doesn't get to visit during working hours, period. Yeah, no, you're not the asshole for this one at all. What is her problem? Has she actually been lobotomized or something to walk up the stairs, banging and screaming against a locked door, being like, "You have company, you have company. Open the door right now and talk to me. I know that you're in there working. I know you're working right now. You need to put it down because you have company." Seriously, I refuse to believe that people this socially inept actually exist. The functional part of her brain that says, hey, people have boundaries, people are working right now. The world is not all about me and it does not rotate around me, seems to be missing from this stupid woman's brain. Then to get in a huff and complain about it when you're told the obvious? Is she mentally 5 years old? It sounds like she's mentally 5 years old. Yeah, she's banned from the house during working hours. Why is this even a discussion? This is your house. These are your rules. Screw your auntie. Who cares about her? And now, onto the updates. So I go to dinner for a few hours, return to Reddit, only to find out that this has exploded. First of all, thank you all for your confirmation that this isn't on me. I did not think I was the asshole, but there was always that hint of doubt where you're like, maybe I should have poked my head out and said hello real quick, but the truth is that it was a busy day today and I just hadn't had the time. Now for the update. After I finished my workday, I took my mum out for dinner and we discussed the matter. She hadn't responded to any of her sisters, my aunt's texts, because she is fully on my side. I know people are asking why my mum didn't stop her. My mum isn't very mobile anymore, and my aunt simply got up from her seat and took off upstairs despite my mum's warning. We discussed it over dinner, and we agreed that my aunt simply is no longer welcome during office hours, since it's the only way to stop this behavior. Either she can pick up my mum to go to a coffee shop and talk, come after office hours, or come over on the one day that I work in office. My aunt seems pretty pissy about it, calling their brother, my uncle, to complain also, but he texted me earlier saying that he told her how wrong she was, and apparently her husband had also told her that she was wrong. So now she's currently stomping her feet at home because everybody is saying that she's wrong. Delightful woman she is. Remind me to one day post the story about her Disneyland trip. Update to the update. This is the Cliff Notes version of the Disneyland story. She has twin boys, and for their birthday, she booked a trip to take them and one of their friends out to Disneyland. The friend ended up cancelling last minute and told me if I paid the friend's share, then I could go. Reasonable enough, so I figured why not. I was 16 at the time of this story, and that was like 20 years ago. I'm European, so this is Disneyland Paris I'm talking about. And I'm not from France, so this is an international trip, and this becomes important later. My cousins are maybe 10-ish at this point. So anyways, we're in the parks, and she's been a menace all trip already, but I'm dealing with it. It's the last day, about 5 hours before we have to take our train back home, international traveling train with customers, etc., like a plane would be, only less boarding time. One of my cousins wants to go on the rock and roll roller coaster, and the other one doesn't. The line is like 5 minutes or less, so my aunt tells me to go with him and she'll wait at the exit with our bags. So I leave my bag containing my phone, my ID, my money, everything in her care. 10 minutes later, me and my cousin get out of the ride and she is gone. So I start looking around and cannot find her. After half an hour of waiting, maybe they went to the bathroom or something, still nothing. We go to check the bathrooms, neighboring rides, the works, but no auntie. I have no phone on me to call her, and with us having to leave for the train in 4 hours, I get nervous. I'm a 16-year-old with a 10-year-old in my hand, and no money, no ID, no phone, no nothing. So I decide to go to the lost kids department and explain my situation. They end up calling her through the park's intercom. Another hour goes by, no aunt. I remember my dad's phone number back home, so I use Disney's landline to call him. He tries calling her cell phone, my cell phone, no response whatsoever. At this point, I have like an hour or less before the train leaves, and I'm in hysterics because I can't board this train without money or ID, let alone with another minor. My cousin at this point, seeing my panic, is crying his eyes out too, so I'm also dealing with a scared child, and I'm barely an adult myself. My dad eventually tells me that it makes no sense for him to drive out to Paris right now, to go back to our hotel, and he'll pay for another night, and he'll come pick us up in the morning. So I take my cousin back to our hotel and explain the situation, and the receptionist hears me say my name and says, "Oh, sweetheart, I have a note for you. It's from your aunt. Gone to dinner, see you on the train." At this point, I have half an hour to run to the station, hoping we'll get through customs while she's supposed to be waiting. I make it with 15 minutes to spare. I'm out of breath and fuming. We end up making it through customs, God only knows how, and manage to get on the train literally as the door closes on us. I call my dad to explain the update, and he's also fuming at this point. To which my aunt turns to me and goes, "I don't know why you're so mad. I left a note at the hotel, and I brought you something to eat," and hands me a frickin' dinner roll. I took my stuff, went to the dining car with my cousin, who she almost abandoned, and gave him the biggest slice of chocolate cake my budget could buy, and never came back to our seats to talk to her. And that's where I'm going to end today's episode, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.